Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And we are back. You know, time flies when you're having fun. We started off with Mattress Mac. And all those out there buying furniture today, get out there to his store.
I'm so glad to use that tagline.
Yes.
Saves you money. That was
yes,
perfect.
He will save you money, let me tell you.
6006 I-45 between Tidwell and Parker.
We have Bob Christian, and, a great realtor out there in the Katy area with his team, lead agent, especially when it comes to relocation. But, part of moving also is understanding some of the other services that you can get out there.
We've had a moving company on before, but we've never had anyone who uses this modular type of thing. And we have Phil Dvorak. Welcome from PODS. Is that an acronym for something?
PODS, yeah, it stands for Portable On-Demand Storage.
Perfect.
Portable On-Demand Storage. It's the neatest thing because, one of the things that we're seeing nowadays is a lot of times, and Bob will probably talk about this in our next segment as well, individuals are all worried, well, if I sell my home too early, where am I going to move? Where am I going to put my stuff? I don't want to put my home on the market yet, but I do want to go out there and find a new home. And so a lot of times people are out there looking at that. That's some of the real questions that people ask. And PODS actually allows an individual not to have to really go through some of those nuances. I mean, you'll show up, you'll put basically a pod right in their driveway or wherever they can put it right there. They can start storing stuff immediately. Also for sale, it's really good because if someone needs to declutter their home, it's great to be able to find a way to be able to get some of that furniture out of the way. Let us know a little bit about that success story. How did PODS come about? How did it get developed, and where are you sort of seeing it going forward?
Yeah, some of the things that you said are really some of the parts of the business that we're perfectly tailored for. So you'll have people that have their house on the market, but they're looking for their next house. They need to stage their home, get some of the clutter out. We can take their items, put them in our storage center, and then when they find their new house after their home sells, we just deliver it to their new house along with the rest of their belongings.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, we were talking last week that some of the new home builders are saying, you've got to have your house on the MLS, so we're not starting your new home. We want to make sure that you're going to be selling your existing home. But if you're 7 months out from having a home complete, they put their house on the market, and it's, 3 hours, Bob, before they're sold? 18 offers. And so what do? I'm thinking, go find a furnished apartment to rent, and then call PODS because you come out. I understand that they actually put the stuff in the PODS.
Right.
Do you have people who also do that for them if they do?
We have people that we can refer them to. We don't do that in-house in our company.
Go ahead.
I was going to say something I really like about y'all's service that I thought was really cool is that you guys don't bill by the number of days that they have it. So, as soon as they know that they're moving or whatever else, they can take as much time as they need. And running that pod from you guys, they can load it up and take an extended period of time to do that, and it's just a single charge, right?
Exactly. It's a flat monthly rate, so that's one of our biggest selling points, too, one of the things that helps differentiate us from other companies. Yeah.
And that's neat because most people don't really realize that. Most of the fear individuals have about selling their home too early is the moving costs associated with it. I've got to put it in storage. They charge me by the day. I got to do this. I've got the movers that charge me. PODS is really a way to do it in a very efficient, effective, and cost-effective way that most people, I think, don't know how effectively it works. I mean, you can essentially go out there, put a pod on somebody, they can fill it up, then you have your truck come in, put it back to your storage center, and then you will redeliver it at the time whenever they have that new home or where it needs to be delivered.
That's exactly right, yeah. One of the ways that I describe our service, too, is that we're kind of the middle path. We're not the full-service moving company that might be out of a lot of people's price range or more than they want to spend. And at the same time, you're not going and renting a truck or, trying to bribe all of your buddies who have pickup trucks to show up on a weekend.
We'll buy you a case of Coors and all the pizza you want, right?
I just won't show up when I try that.
I'm so gullible. I fall for that pizza thing, all the time. Hey, buddy, let's come over. Let's have some pizza. It's a sure sign they're moving.
Yeah, I just stopped buying trucks, period, pickup trucks. That's still the only thing I used to drive. But now I won't do it for that very reason.
I've got a hatchback. That's it.
Exactly.
I can't help you, buddy.
I can't help you. I got too small of a car. I can't move today.
Something I want to encourage folks to do is hop on Facebook and like y'all's Facebook page because you guys have a ton of really cool Kay's tip of the week is really awesome. I've just been tooling around on there looking at it. Some really neat ideas on there, things that you can do to make moves smoother. Y'all had a tip that was really neat. Preparing your child with a big move. Create a personalized book about moving with Twigtail. And it's just it's not about selling them something or other. It's just directing them to a resource to make a transition of moving easier for the kids involved. I love that kind of stuff. Y'all have all sorts of neat tips on your Facebook page.
We try to make it as easy as possible and give as much help to people who are moving is one of the most stressful things that people tend to go through in their lifetime. So anything that we can do to help alleviate a little bit of that stress is what we try to do.
Facebook.com/Houston Pods to find that page.
Find some of that information. That's good information. And speaking of information, we have an individual who is calling us right now. Tiff, how are you doing?
Hey, good morning, guys. How are y'all?
Good morning.
Very well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. The foot's finally starting to heal up a little bit, but boy, by nighttime it's a killer. Anyway, and listen, I just want you guys to know I love pod people. I absolutely love them.
That sounds like a movie.
I know,
Pod people,
starring Will
I
Smith.
recommend pods all the time. You guys are a lifesaver for a lot of my clients. And the one point that I always make to my clients is that if you use the pods, it's a lot less wear and tear on your furnishings because you're not having to move them out of the house into storage, out of storage into a truck, out of the truck into the house. It's better for your stuff and it's less stressful and everything. And I cannot say how many times that I've recommended pods and my clients have come back and said they are just thrilled with how everything went.
Well, I think you're giving them good advice, Tiff. Absolutely.
I would have to agree. Thank you so much.
Anything you do to take stress out of that move, and it's a very stressful process, and people don't like change as a rule anyway. So it's nice. And of course, we use pods for our last fundraiser too. We had a need to have to store stuff temporarily, and Pods was nice enough to donate a pod to us to be able to facilitate that. So there's a ton of different uses out there for temporary storage. And Tiff, since you've called in, we're going to give you a chance to tell everyone your name and how to contact you.
Oh, my name is Tish Rayford. I own Show Condition Home Staging, and you can contact me by calling 832-816-5235. We're a full-service home staging company. We can help with everything from just making it look pretty all the way down to getting it clean and getting you moved and everything. So just give us a call if you need any help. Even if you need some advice and some resources, we've got those, and we're more than happy to share, even if you don't decide to hire us to do any staging.
Well, I'm glad that you have Pods on your referral list because
they absolutely are.
I know that's a great solution anyway. Well, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you very much, Tiff.
Thank you, guys. Y'all take care.
You too.
Yeah, and that's a great example right there. I mean, that is a perfect example. Someone, even if you're not moving, because what we talk about in our show is home ownership. So if you're remodeling your home, if you are looking at restaging your home, if you're looking at moving maybe some furniture in and out and make some decisions, you don't necessarily want to sell some of that furniture until you have everything new put in. I mean, you can use pods for a variety of reasons. It doesn't have to be just because you're moving. It can be because you're moving around. Because you're staying where you're at, you just need to move furniture out temporarily for that construction process.
Yeah, Chris, that's really the second biggest reason that people use our service is for remodeling, any kind of renovation. If they had a water heater in the attic that blew and they have a remediation company out there and they need to pack out all of their belongings, it's right there in the driveway rather than having to go run it to a mini storage facility someplace.
Right.
So yeah, people remodeling, renovations, getting new carpet, getting new flooring, putting a new kitchen in their house.
Right.
That's one of the other big reasons.
In Rob's case, just to be able to put his Harleys.
Yeah, you got to have a place to put your bikes. You don't put them in the rain. So
you don't put them in the rain. That was one of the.
Put them in the rain.
I learned that in the break.
How long has Pods of Houston been around?
We're in our 11th year now.
Wow.
Yeah, we're a lot of people don't realize that we're a franchise company. So Pods Corporate began in '98, but here in Houston we opened in 2003.
Well, when I first saw it, I thought this is brilliant. And why didn't I think of that? because it's a great temporary. Because and of course, stagers, they're the number one thing. The thing that we always, when we're trying to sell a house, of course, and Bob will probably be shaking his head right here, is get rid of clutter.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no place to put it, or they clutter the garage with it, which means when you walk out in the garage, it's like stacked boxes high. So, I mean, it's a perfect solution for a temporary. And how long do people typically store stuff in a pod?
It ranges widely. If people have a new place where they're moving to immediately, it could be as little as just a couple of weeks. But what we find more so here lately is the situation where there's a delay of some sort. Whether it's a new construction that gets delayed, whether it's a closing issue or an inspector found something and it kind of gummed up the works. A good example, I have a friend of mine who really anticipated moving and it taking 1 month, and he's been with us 7 months right now.
Wow.
So and that's the good thing. I mean, we can bend and flex with you like that.
Now, are there different size pods?
There are. Yeah, the pods containers come in a 12-foot by 8x8 and a 16 by 8x8.
So those are your two sizes. And so typically what happens, I know we had a great exchange with your drivers and stuff because they were really good about calling me up and said, we're delivering the pod this day and we're going to put it out on our parking lot where our home office was or is. And they were there right on time. And then when they're about to pick it up, they raised. I mean, it was flawless. And they didn't miss the call. It was a very seamless operation.
And the other thing also I tell everybody is, not that we want to, if you don't mind, but it's how clean the operation is also. If you go to where they store the pods, it's amazing how clean it is. And so that's always a good indication. You see a lot of times when people are always sort of scared. They look at these moving companies and they've got all these trucks and they've got all this stuff and they've got all this stuff in the back and it's dirty. It's not the way Pods does it. I mean, you store it in climate controlled, very nice warehousing area. Really nicely taken care of, so it's very clean. And that's also something I always like to tell everybody because people like to know that their stuff's being taken care of, and it starts with the way they take care of their own facility.
Yeah.
Well, as always, we are having a blast, and when we're having a blast, the time just shoots by.
Right by us.
We are coming up on a break again. Tell us how folks get a hold of Pods.
They can online at pods.com, or they can call our local office at 281-446-0463. And the national number for if you're moving from any place other than Houston, 877-PODS.
That's for the 2 or 3 people that are out there.
Right.
Everybody else is coming to Houston.
Everyone else is coming here. They're not leaving Houston. That is great. Well, we still have one more segment coming up. We're going to do sort of a round robin, open it up for everybody to speak. Not that we're shy about speaking at any right now, but stay tuned. We're going to a break. We'll be right back.
For Will Smith.
Ain't that a kick in the head? The room was completely black. I hugged her and she hugged back. Like the sailor said, quote, ain't that a hole in a boat?